Hi again, how's it going? Hope you're well. Today I'm going to take you through some of the cheaper 360 camera options that are available now in 2020. Obviously, a lot of new cameras have been released in the past few months, like the GoPro Max, the Insta360 the QCam 8K. They are all relatively expensive, especially if you don't want to spend, $400, $500, $600, $700 on something that maybe you're not going to use all the time. You just want something a bit more casual. So there are some options available. I'm going to take you through them now. I'm going to keep the limit to $300 and below. I think that is pretty budget for a 360 camera because most of them, like I say, are like at least $400, $500, $600 even, depending on what you get. I've used all but one of the cameras that I'm about to show you and tell you, so I do know something about them all, and I'm going to be as honest as possible, tell you what I think about them. The first camera we're going to talk about is the GoPro Fusion. Now, this is a actually very, very, very good deal on right now, available on Amazon for just over $200, and that is a very good deal considering the quality of the video you can still get from this camera. It's about a year and a half, 2 years old now. It's the first ever all-in-one 360 camera developed by GoPro. When it was released, it was much more expensive, like $600, I think, maybe roughly that price. And yeah, it was considered one of the most powerful 360 cameras at the time. Can shoot 5.2K video resolution, has actually very good lenses, very good sensor technology, and produces very high quality video that can even match up to some cameras released today. Has excellent stabilization, great for moving, great if you want action shots, action videos, great for vlogging, has more than one microphone to record your sound. It's waterproof, shockproof. I mean, it's got a lot of features, and yeah, they're all still pretty good. I mean, the camera matches up to, like I said, some cameras available today. So what is the downside? Well, for a start, the software is not that great still. It takes a lot of processing power and a lot of, basically a pretty powerful laptop or desktop to render your videos. You also need 2 memory cards to make the camera work, so that is an extra expense. They have to be pretty fast memory cards as well, and the mobile software has been known to be a little bit buggy. However, the recent upgrade or the recent new generation of GoPro 360 cameras, the GoPro Max, actually loses some features compared to the GoPro Fusion. For example, the Fusion can shoot DNG RAW photos, whereas the GoPro Max, even though it's a much newer camera, can't do that. So with the Fusion, you're actually getting some more features than you would otherwise get with a newer camera. So for $200 or $250, roughly that price, that is a really good deal. I'm pretty sure the same deal is available in the UK and Europe. So yeah, that is definitely the best quality you're going to get for under $300, the best quality video. And you do need a pretty powerful desktop to get it all to work. Okay, number 2 on my list of cheap 360 cameras is the Ricoh Theta SC2. Now, this is the second generation of budget 360 cameras released by Ricoh, and I've actually not used this camera. This is the only camera in this list that I'm talking about in this video that I've not used. However, I have used the Ricoh Theta V and the Ricoh Theta Z1 here, so I have used their lineup. They're all share some similarities. As you can see, the design of the camera pretty similar to the Ricoh Theta V, and in fact the functionality of the camera is actually pretty similar as well. It features a cheaper plastic body, and it's limited to how long it can record for, and it also has a limited amount of memory. But otherwise, they're actually fairly similar, and I find the Ricoh Theta V to be very good at photography. They have decent lens technology in their cameras for taking photos. When it comes to video, it's not as good. The SC2, the Theta SC2, is limited to 4K 360 video, so it's not going to match up to cameras released now. What's considered the minimum for good 360 video now is at least 5K, so 4K really doesn't match up to them. But for photos, it can shoot automatic HDR photos. The lens technology is good, the sensor technology is good. There's also a night mode available for shooting photos in low light conditions. So basically, the SC2 is my go-to. So basically, if you were more interested in photos, in 360 photography, in tiny planets, that kind of stuff, and you wanted a cheap 360 camera, the Theta SC2 is definitely one to look out for. It's around about $300. If you did want a bit more extra functionality, a bit more memory, and that extra recording time, then the Theta V is actually only about $50 more expensive, so you may want to go for that as well. Okay, the third cheap 360 camera I'm going to recommend is the Xiaomi MadVenture camera, also known as the Xiaomi Mi Sphere for a long time, but now apparently it's called MadVenture. So this is a very popular 360 camera at the time. It's about 2.5 years old now, and it is showing its age somewhat, which is hence why it's a lot cheaper than other cameras. What I would recommend this camera for is, again, photography over video. A mad venture is around about $300, give or take, I don't know, 10 or 20 each way, depending if there's a sale on or not. And this is a fairly good deal for what you get. So the mad venture is one, waterproof out of the box, so you can take it in water and it's not going to get damaged. It features stabilization, so you can move it around and it's not going to ruin your video. It can only shoot 4K video, but it does a decent job. I mean, again, it's not going to match up to newer cameras. Where it really does excel is taking photos. It can take very high resolution photos, 23 megapixels. It can also shoot HDR videos automatically, and it can shoot DNG RAW photos as well. So that means if you have access to programs like Photoshop or Lightroom, DNG RAW provides so much more information. You can really get some stunning quality photos, even though the lens and sensors are quite small. The DNG RAW capability of this camera really makes it stand out compared to others. I know very many people who have used this camera professionally to shoot virtual tours using the DNG RAW mode and taking those photos and creating virtual tours, or using it for Google Maps, stuff like that. So this is the cheapest camera that can do that, so check that out if that's what you're interested in. I would say that it struggles with its mobile app and desktop app. It's very basic and kind of buggy. I don't really, haven't had any updates for a while, I don't think, so yeah, bear that in mind. My final recommendation for a cheap 360 camera is the Rilo. Now, a word of caution here, the Rilo was at one point my favorite 360 camera. It's been a couple of years. However, the company that produces it, I guess they were also called Rilo, they are no longer trading. They are no longer, well, I don't think they exist. I think another company bought them. So the Rilo camera is not going to have an update. It's not going to receive any more updates. And if you should have any issues with your camera, the company is probably not going to do much to help you. So bear that in mind. On the flip side, this is another 5K 360 camera, 5.8K resolution. So that is the highest resolution of all these cheap 360 cameras out right now. It also features a really, really good app for reframing if you are into reframing video as opposed to shooting 360. This was the first camera or the first company to really crack that code of how to take your 360 video and turn it into a linear video with super smooth stabilization, super smooth transitions, very cinematic. A lot of other companies have copied them. So this camera is now available for just over or around about $200, $250. It's probably going to sell out eventually because they're not going to make any more of them. So get it while you can if that's what you're into. So I think this is probably the best option. This is probably the best camera because it's super high resolution video, great stabilization, great for action shots, and also a really user-friendly software, user-friendly app. Okay guys, I guess that is it. Those are my 4 cheap 360 cameras that I would recommend if someone asked me what is a good cheap 360 camera out right now. Most of them are at least a year old or just over a year old. Only the Ricoh Theta SC2 is fairly new. That's their newest cheap camera lineup, and they're all $300 or below. I don't think there's really anything else worth looking at in terms of cheap 360 cameras. If you want something more expensive, then check out my recent reviews. There are plenty of expensive cameras out. But yeah, I just wanted to make a video for those who do not want to spend a metric shit ton of money, or if you have any questions about any of the cameras. Also, feel free to leave a comment and I will get back to you. Like I said, I've used almost all of them. But yeah, hope that was useful. Until next time, I'll see you around. Bye.